We've learned a whole lot of you like to talk about wine and read about wine as much as you like to drink wine. Backed by popular demand, we have award-winning wine writer, try to say that 5 times fast, Natalie McLean. And if you were wondering what you should bring to a Thanksgiving gathering, Natalie can actually help, but we should talk about the fact that you just got back from your trip of a lifetime.
Yes, yeah, I was in Bordeaux, France, just before the harvest.
Research is really tough.
I know, and I try to be thorough too, you know. I don't want to miss anything. But
and you've never been to that region before?
No, I haven't, and it was gorgeous. I mean, it was just, the vines were like a waving sea of green, and the sweet, ripe grapes, the smell was filling the air. It was a beautiful time to be there.
And you actually got to smell them from a different perspective because you decided to run in a marathon.
Yeah,
a portion of a marathon?
Yes, it's called the Médoc Marathon, and it's structured in some ways like a traditional marathon in that it's 26 point whatever miles, but you run past 59 of the greatest chateaux, and you got to like this. At each of 21 rest stations, there is water, but there is also wine, which kind of would go against dehydration. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Kind of funny is your husband's reaction because I said, "Oh, Natalie, I didn't realize you were a runner," and you said, "I wasn't."
No, I wasn't. And I told my husband back in April, because I did do a little training, I'm going to run this marathon, and he said, "You're going to hurt yourself." And I said, "Thanks for the vote of confidence, but don't worry, I've already started training. I'm getting up at 6 a.m. every morning, and I've started drinking the Cru Bourgeois, and by the summer, I'm going to be drinking the First Gross. I'll be a real machine."
He said, so it all worked for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm sure everyone is wanting us to get to your picks, and these are your picks for the fall.
Right.
And we're also going to well, you know, a lot of people react poorly if you bring a screw top to their home, and Natalie's about to correct that.
Yes. First of all, I couldn't even find my corkscrew when I got here, so that's the first good thing about a screw cap, is that you don't need extra equipment. But what's happened with wines lately is that more and more producers are going to the screw cap, because what we're finding is that with the corks, they can taint the wine. They can make it smell bad, like a cardboard box. And that has to do with the chemicals reacting badly with the wine. But so what we're seeing is that a lot of higher-end wines, from the mid-range right on up, are going to screw caps. And they're good wines, but the bonus is they're no longer tainted with cork.
Now, we want to know what this wine is.
Oh, yes.
So tell us about that.
This is a gorgeous wine. It's a Sauvignon Blanc, so it's a crisp white from New Zealand. It's a great one for Thanksgiving dinner if you like white wines, because it marries well with the food. Good acidity, mouth-watering, beautiful wine.
And one of the things that you were saying is the corks, and one of the reasons that the vineyards are making the changeover is that 1 in 12 bottles can be off?
Yeah, 1 in 12, and that's a defect ratio that we wouldn't accept in any other industry. And yet, you know, we open a bottle, and 1 in your case of wine is likely to be off, tasting kind of musty like the attic.
Well, we're going to get to the phones. Musty like the attic. Is that like a quote you've used? We're going to get to the phones in a very short while, but if you could just talk about 2 of your picks for the fall.
Absolutely. We've got 2 full-bodied reds here. There are a lot of fans of full-bodied reds, and for Thanksgiving you can't go wrong because there's so many flavors on the table anyway that you're not going to match perfectly with them all. So why not just go with a wine that you like? So for full body, these are 2 excellent deals. This one is from Jackson Triggs out in the Okanagan, BC. And it's a Merlot. It just came out in the last couple months. It's only $13, but what I look for is a wine that tastes twice as expensive as it is. And this one does. It's gorgeous. It's full. It's got rich, ripe plums, beautifully drinking wine. This one from Chile is from Cusina McCall. It's been around a little longer. It's about $12. And again, it's just such a great value for the price, and a very rich, deep, full-bodied red.
Well, we'll talk about everything else we have on the counter before we get to the phones.
Okay.
This one is
This is a Pinot Noir from California. It's a lighter, medium-bodied wine. Pinot Noir is the classic match for turkey, but you don't have to do anything classic. We won't hold you to any of those rules. But if you do want a more medium-bodied red, that's a gorgeous one.
And last but not least, it's another white.
A German Riesling, another crisp white, a different style from the Sauvignon Blanc that we talked about earlier. It's got lots of minerality and fruit like pears, that sort of thing. Gorgeous, again, with Thanksgiving dinner. Will marry with a broad spectrum of flavor.
So these are your picks, and people can find information on these wines and lots of other information on Natalie's website. The Nectar of the Gods is a growing hobby for many people. Wine experts like Natalie McLean work to snuff out wine snobbery. collaborate to make wine tasting a more friendly territory. Natalie's ready to take your calls at 750-1211. All of our lines are full, but as soon as one caller is finished, that's your cue to call. We ask you to be brief. And for those of you who weren't able to jot down all of the information about the wines Natalie mentioned, there's a link on our website at cjoh.com, and